The main glitch of this formation is the stack receivers, as a lot of times these routes can make the defenders run into one another to the point where they just set a pick for a wide open, easy catch and run one-play touchdown. But that doesn't just work for that route, as the outside route can work as well, as these defenders will run each other so much that you can score with either receiver against just about any defense in the game. If you guys are looking for fast, cheap, reliable MUT coins, check out my coin sponsors at MMOXP.com and use discount code MONEYSHOT for 6% off your order. Link in the description below. The champ is here! Welcome back, Money Team. This is Madden Money Shot, sniffing out the Madden cheese as always. In today's video, I'm going to bring you guys one of the most explosive passing plays in the entire game, as it can score a one-play touchdown against every single defense with little to no adjustments. But before I do, as always, if you guys want to see more videos like this, please make sure to be a subscriber, hit the like button, let me know in the comment section. Other than that, let's go right into the video. Now, the formation I'm going to be working at today is the gun stack wide flexes, which is one of my all-time favorite formations, which was typically found in the Saints playbook, and it's still found in the Saints playbook, but this year they also added to the Giants and one of my favorite playbooks in the entire game, the Kansas City Chiefs, which is the only offensive ebook that I have out right now, as I break down this entire formation in depth, as it has 15 plays and I probably go over just about every single one of them. So if you guys want more help from this formation or from any of the formations in this playbook, you can download this or any of my ebooks instantly simply by clicking links in the description or the top pinned comment. And I also have a full breakdown of this offense on my Patreon and on my Join Now community tab, which you guys can see if you go video to video. You can just click the link and see a full breakdown of just this scheme if you guys want to check that out. Now, the play that I'm going to highlight today is the PA read, which is one of the most explosive plays in the entire game, based on the fact that you can score a one-play touchdown against every single defense of the game with very few adjustments, and there's not a lot of plays that I've come across that you can do that. You can see the results, as I've called this almost 50 times, and I average over 24 yards per attempt, so it's very explosive. We're going to go defense to defense as well, starting off with cover 2. And for this play, honestly, you don't really need a lot of setup. There's a couple different ways I could do this. If I want to, I could put the running back on a wheel route, and I'll show you guys that setup first, as this will allow me to basically leave the wide receiver alone and run the route that he's running, as the RB receiver will pull that safety, allowing for a very easy split over the center of the field. But that's not typically the way that I like to run it, as I like to have the RB receiver as a blocker, which I can get simply by putting the wide receiver on a streak. And you'll notice how the RB receiver, or the actual play action, holds the mid read, and then he never actually reacts to go back to where the receiver is, which is something that you don't typically get. As cover 2 is a much better defense this year, based off the fact that these mid reads do a very good job of acting like deep middle third safeties, but this play here, he doesn't react at all, as him and the linebacker next to him are just sitting there while this receiver is just streaking right through the middle, splitting the safeties for a very easy touchdown. Next up, we're going to go over cover 3, as there's a couple different setups that we could use here as well, but I'll start off with cover 3 sky, as all you really have to do is run this from a hash mark to the short side of the field, as the safety is going to react very differently than if you run it from a different area. So just make sure you're on a hash mark, and all you gotta do is put the wide receiver on a streak. Once again, the play is already set up just like cover 2, as you'll notice that the safety is going to favor the streak route, allowing this guy to get wide open once again for a very easy one-play touchdown. Next up, we're going to pick cover 3 mats, which is going to be pretty similar, but there will be several setups, so let's pick that. As you can run this the same way, from a hash mark to the short side, while also putting the wide receiver on a streak. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to bring in my my tight end too and make him an additional blocker, as I know that I'm trying to basically hit a one-play touchdown here. So you'll see how we have a lot of blocking, even though I still rolled out of the pocket, and nobody follows like you might typically get from a lot of cover 3s. Now, there is a setup that you can do no matter where you are between the hash marks, as I'll show you guys a one-play touchdown setup that you could use against either cover 3, where all you got to do is put the wide receiver on a post, as this double post look here, and it looks like we might have a cover 3 blitz, so I'll go to motion this guy in and put him on a block. But you'll notice that now that I have a second post, that the safety can't commit to that wide receiver based off the fact that there's 2 posts in his area. So if you guys want to run a setup that you can use against either cover 3 and from anywhere on the field in between the hash marks, this is the best way to set it up. Now, when it comes to running against things like cover 4 regular, which is basically like a cover 4 drop where they don't match, you're going to want to go back to the double post setup, where you put Y on a post, and it's always going to be best to run from a hash mark to the short side of the field, because these receivers are going to have less distance to run. As you can see, there's really no pass rush at all, and we can just dot it up in the corner there. And this is the toughest defense to hit a one-play touchdown against, based on the fact that it's basically a prevent with 4 deep zones. But you can see how this one easy setup makes it so easy. He gets right past this safety who follows the other post route over the top of the cornerback for a very easy one-play touchdown in the corner. Against cover 4 match, the setup's going to start to look very different, as we're going to pick cover 4 quarters first before going over palms. As what really makes this formation glitchy is the fact that you have two receivers so close to one another. So there's a new setup that we're going to introduce that's going to work really well anytime you see the cornerback or the cornerback and the safety or just about anybody stacked like we see here on the left side, where all we have to do is put the wide receiver on a corner route and then custom stem him up with the left stick by holding the left bumper and then intersecting the corner route and the post route like this. As this is going to give you a lot of interference, as the X receiver here, you can see once he breaks on the inside, he's just wide open against this look. And that's because the defenders are typically going to run into one another. As you can see here in the replay, the fact that we have two receivers stacked on top of one another next to two cornerbacks, you're going to see they're going to basically communicate to the point that when they split and intersect, a lot of times the defenders are going to run into one another to the point where you can really throw to either one of these guys, as we throw it to the inside receiver for a very easy one-play touchdown over the middle. And that's going to work in just about any defense where you see the stack looking like they're basically on top of one another. So if I go ahead and I pick cover 4 palms, it's going to work the exact same way. As all I got to do is, once again, put them on a corner route, custom stem him up with the left stick, not the D-pad, as this here just basically gives you the ability to put it in 1 yard increments. As you can see here, once again, we have those guys stacked on top of one another. This is going to ensure that they basically run into one another, and sometimes they'll run into each other to the point where it'll actually mess up the receiver's timing, which is not the end of the world. You'll just basically get a situation where it'll, basically make you have to reset the down. But you can see how, there's so much interference to the point where I could really throw to either one of these receivers. As that time we get over the top with Smith. And this is going to be the same when it comes to defenses like cover 6 and cover 9, as you really just have a defense that's half cover 2 and half cover 4. So you really just have to make sure that you're on the cover 4 side of the field. The receivers are on the right side of the field. As you can see on this play here, that the cornerback is about 8 yards off the line of scrimmage on the left side, which means that's the cover 4 side. He's closer on the right side. So once you know you're on the cover 4 side, you just have to set up the same intersecting routes. And we had a huge separation there, as the cornerbacks must have really ran into one another. And that's going to be very successful when it comes to just about any man coverage, as we'll pick that play again and start off with cover 0, as I'll go with the defense that people have the most issue with, which is going to be mid blitz. As all you have to do once again is put the wide receiver on that corner route, and I'll go ahead and I'll block or at least check and release the running back so that they'll help to pick up without putting the defender that's on him in a position where he's basically going to become a deep defender. And you can see how, once again, the wide receiver works. He's going against a much better defender. That's based on the fact that we have that intersecting route once again, as we can throw to him, or we can throw to the X receiver, as he's going to get open over the middle the same way. Although, like I said, you really just want to watch to see who's getting the most separation. As I could throw to either one of these routes in just about any one of these scenarios. You just want to see who gets the benefit the most from the rub or from the conflict with the defenders there. As you can see, we could score with either one of these players. Cover 1 can have similar success, so let's go and let's pick cover 1 whole, as long as we have enough corners on the field here. As it's a little less consistent with the intersecting route options when it comes to cover 1, as you can see, they're not necessarily in the same position. So this is going to be a scenario where we could actually do a couple different things, including putting the wide receiver on a streak, or just flat out putting the running back on a wheel, although you want to motion them to the other side, because the streak is going to pull back the safety along with the crossing route. And this is pretty much all you got to do against just about any cover 1 in the game, is we get the same type of interference. But wheel routes just in general just beat cover 1 man. Your basic wheel route, which I'll go ahead and I'll just leave the play as is and motion this guy out. But your basic wheel route at the line of scrimmage against a linebacker is one of the best adjustments in the game. Is here we don't get any interference, but if you get a good throw, and I don't even think it's a linebacker, I think it's a safety, but if you get any type of throw to the outside pass leading away, you're going to get a very easy one-play touchdown against that defense. But you have a lot of man-beating routes here. As you have the A receiver, the Y receiver is a good man-beating route, as he's a good crossing route, the B receiver. So there's a lot of different things you could do. You could also put the Y receiver on streak, and then I like to put the X receiver on a shorter, basically putting them on a repost, and I find that that's going to pull back. As you can see, once again, we create that conflict, we get across the center of the field. I mean, there's lots of different ways to beat cover 1 man when it comes to this play. And then last but not least, this trick's going to work with cover 2 man as well, so let's go and let's pick that. Make sure you're running from a hash mark once again, because obviously we're working to one side of the field here. And then we're just going to intersect these routes one more time, as the jam can definitely help to get these guys off. And you can see I can get wide open to the outside. It's really, once again, just depends on who gets the most benefit from these guys running into one another. As now we got the X receivers splitting right up and over the middle of the field. As we almost score a one-play touchdown there. I'm gonna go ahead and call it though, because like I said, I told you guys earlier that if you really want to pull the safeties apart, you can just put the B receiver in a 10-yard out route, and it'll have that same effect. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Give this offense a try. Let me know how it works out for you. Other than that, if you guys want to see more videos that I put out from the Chiefs offense and the Raiders defense, I'll have that pop up on screen, some gameplays that I put out. So just click links, and until next time, thanks for watching, man. My shit out. Need more help or just want to show your support? Then head over to my Patreon and join my team, where you can get exclusive content like ebooks and bonus plays, as well as early access to my vids and more. Link in the description below.